Hello there, good to have you on the program. This is Business Africa. My name is Amel Inga. In this week's headlines, Sudan is in troubling waters. The country is increasingly facing economic difficulties with inflation reaching 69%. Money laundering in the real estate sector as curves that thrives in Gabon will take a stock in this edition of Business Africa. The legal battle between Nigeria and MTN come to a close finally. We'll take a closer look at this. Sudan has been living for several days amid tensions, fatal protests, hunger riots, and large-scale demonstrations. The country, which is already experiencing a serious economic crisis with ever-increasing inflation, also has to face the population protesting against rising prices and the shortage of raw materials. Serge Manko and Claudia Nsono have more.
The economic crisis seems to be worsening in Sudan, which has been facing major demonstrations since the rise in the price of bread. The government's recent decision to increase the price of bread by 1 to 3 Sudanese pounds or 2 to 6 euro cents has angered the population. The country is facing growing economic difficulties with an inflation rate of nearly 70% and a plunge in the Sudanese pound against the US dollar. According to the National Statistics Agency, inflation rose from 68.44% in October to 68.93% in November, despite the government's attempts to contain price increases by limiting cash withdrawals. However, Khartoum hopes to recover its economy thanks to a strong increase in exports and a reduction in the budget deficit next year. With the independence of South Sudan in 2011, Khartoum lost 3/4 of its oil revenues, which alone accounted for 85% of national revenues, according to the World Bank. In addition, the sanctions imposed by Washington in 1997, including the trade embargo, further aggravated the economic crisis caused by the loss of oil revenues, majority of which are in the south.
Security and policy analyst Abdoulaye Khalaki joins me now with some analysis. Welcome to the program, sir. This is not the first time that Sudan has been shaken by violent demonstrations due to economic difficulties. Has the situation worsened comparatively?
I think it's not so much that it's very difficult than the previous incidents. It's just that a lot of things are coming together. For instance, the price of bread that has gone, from 1 Sudanese pound to 3 Sudanese pound is a big part of it, obviously. But also the currency has been depreciating at a very significant rate. I never mentioned the fact that, a significant chunk, probably 3/4 of Sudan's revenue comes from oil. And since the independence of South Sudan, they have lost that. I think one of the things that is not also mentioned or it's not getting enough airplay is the fact that the United States lifted this 20-year sanction that was imposed on Sudan. So it's a combination of all these things now coming to a head and people feeling, the situation is not improving in, short and medium term.
We know the commodity prices has risen, especially with bread. What do you think the government can do to reduce people's anger?
It's going to be very difficult because economically, if you are not producing enough and there is no one now you can blame, it becomes very difficult. And, if they make a mistake, like let's say, for instance, a la Zimbabweans start printing money, saying probably they want to put a lot of money in circulation, a lot of money in people, not a lot, but enough money in people's pockets. What that does is it will lead to inflation, which means the Sudanese currency will continue losing its value. So it will become very difficult. So to be perfectly honest, the government is in a very difficult situation.
Dans ce contexte, le budget 2019 annoncé...
The 2019 budget announced seems optimistic, a growth of 5.1 against 4 in 2018, 39% increase in exports. Is this realistic in your opinion?
Le FMI prévoit-il au contraire une contraction de l'économie?
I mean, economic growth by its very nature is not a very precise science that a lot of people make it to be. Even good people, can disagree. But a lot of the time, with some of this administration, what you'll be guaranteed is that they would want to overplay the economic growth, which, oh, look, we are growing at this rate, Two things. One, economy can grow, but not grow for everybody. The rich and the wealthy can continue to be making money, not feel the pinch, and the poor can at the same time feel the pinch. Secondly,
thank you very much, Abdullahi Khalaki, for your insight today. That was Abdullahi Khalaki, security and policy analyst, online with us from Washington, D.C. in the United States.
No problem. It's my pleasure, and good luck.
Money laundering in the real estate sector seems to have a brighter future ahead of it in Gabon, according to authorities responsible for promoting investigations, a subject we'll delve into shortly.